This is Lifeclass, and we're live.
We're live around the world. This is so cool.
Our interactive event. Submit your questions right now on my Facebook page and Oprah.com.
It's a dream come true for me.
Lifeclass is live right now.
Why isn't this fun?
We're live.
Push. Hi, everybody. It's Lifeclass, and we're live on the web, around the world, on Facebook, on Oprah.com, on OWN. We're multi-platform.
Yes.
Coming to you from our headquarters in Los Angeles tonight at OWN. We set up shop right here in the middle of what was the cafe. We don't have a studio. We're launching, we're startup. So we invited a few local Lifeclassers. Some staffers are hanging out, and Jan Van Zandt came out west. So yes, we're small but powerful.
Yes.
Small but powerful. But first, I have to tell you all what I did last night.
What?
You don't even know.
No.
I haven't told you.
No.
I had my first Tony Robbins experience.
Your first?
My first.
Where you been? Tony Robbins?
No, as you know, he is the change agent.
Yes.
With millions of followers, and he helps you become your own change. I call him the catalyst for change. Not a motivational speaker. Nope, it's a catalyst for change. So I spent all day at one of his events yesterday. He's on stage for 11 hours, never peed. I don't know what happened.
I know. You know, it's funny because when you do that, you just don't have to pee. The bladder knows. Everything knows.
Is that what happened?
Yes, it really does.
Because I was like,
in the
when
middle of
is
a
he
sermon,
going to pee?
A sermon, a funeral, you don't have to pee.
You don't?
It happens in your ordination. Something happens and the pee
Okay,
just
well, I thought it was
lines
some magical powers he had. But anyway, so I was interviewing him, as I've been interviewing lots of other people for my new show coming to OWN in January called Next Chapter.
All right.
So I went to one day of his 4-day event, and by the end of the night, so I was going just to observe, you know, like, oh, what is this with the Tony Robbins? I want to know what's up with that. And at the end of the night, I did the firewall!
You did! God.
Those are my feet on hot coals.
And it didn't burn.
And it didn't burn.
No. You've been Robinized.
I've been Robinized. Yeah, I walked through the fire and it didn't burn, which is really, it's as he says, it's not about the firewalk. It's about the metaphor, using it as a metaphor for life. And Sherry was there. And up until the time that we did it, Sherry did it, was right with me the whole time. And you know, you try to get yourself revved up. That's me. Yes, I'm going to do it. Yes! And so, you know, you do the whole getting yourself into the state, because this whole thing is about most people live in a state of fear because of the stories that they've told themselves.
Yes.
So tell yourself a new story. And so up until that moment where everybody says, yes, we're going to do it, yes, we're going to do it, I was thinking, maybe. I don't know. But wasn't that incredible, Sherry?
It was unbelievable. And you're right. I mean, I could feel that when we got around the corner, and, you know, quite frankly, gigantic burning embers, and you were just like, whoa.
No, what I said to Sherry was, every mammal and primate knows run from fire.
That's right. That's right. In your show Monday, every animal but us knows.
And then I thought, well, what am I doing? But it was an incredible experience that you'll see in January. So I hope you all saw our show about joy rising tonight. Yes. Love Princess Fanny. Didn't you love her and those Marines and their families? We're going to step out of our Lifeclass box for a minute to talk about some joy rising. Millions of you witnessed over the last few weeks. Actor David Arquette on Dancing with the Stars. Yes. Was he not so excited? Yes. Was he? And he had so much passion and brought joy to viewers every single week. Many were sad to see him get voted off Tuesday night, but he handled it with such grace, and you could not wipe that smile off of his face. So we all know that David's been through some tough times, and he says being on that show allowed him to find joy in his life again. So Mr. Joy himself is Skyping in from New York City. Hey, David.
Hi, Oprah. How are you?
You're still smiling.
I'm still smiling.
Yeah. So what was that like for you, that experience, being on Dancing with the Stars?
There was a lot that went into it. I mean, it's really challenging. It takes a lot of energy, and it pushes you. I mean, it's a reality show and a competition at its heart. So that aspect was kind of hard to deal with, but it really does push you. And I did it for a lot of different reasons, really for joy. I get a lot of joy out of dancing in general and just cutting loose and having fun. But this was different. This was like ballroom dancing, and I wasn't used to it. And it wasn't like, I wasn't in my comfort zone.
Yeah.
And I felt really judged and all of these things. And I was, like last Sunday, we had a rehearsal, and I was so hard on myself. I was just beating myself up. I couldn't get, everything went wrong. I was doing magic tricks, and they went wrong, and the dance went wrong, and our group dance went wrong. And I ended up just beating myself up so bad. And then I really, at that point, it really like, even though I know that voice, that's the same voice that I used to act out and try to numb and try to quiet with alcohol.
Yeah.
But this was a really interesting way of seeing it and hearing it and witnessing how hard I can be on myself. And it was sort of my final lesson in it. And I feel like that was it. Like after that, I'd experienced joy from just dancing and entertaining people, which I love to do. But that lesson was really shedding of like, okay, you know, I don't want to do that to myself anymore, and it's not fair and it's not kind.
Was this a big stepping out of your box moment? Because that was one of our lessons this week on Life Class. This was a big stepping out of your ballroom dancing in front of millions of people.
Yeah, it was. And being judged.
Yeah.
You know, all of these interesting things came up. I remembered this situation where I applied for the Boy Scouts when I was really young. And I have nothing against the Boy Scouts. I think they're an amazing organization. But the lady who was signing us up, for one reason or another, didn't accept me. And I was crushed. And I'd remembered this. And I'd remembered it in conjunction with being judged. And, you know, it's something that as an actor, I have to go audition for things. And I used to take it all so personally. I'd go into the rooms and I'd have to act. And I'd just be so full of fear. So I think like going through that and just sort of accepting it and doing the best I can and being kind to myself, you know, really, you know, dance is all about self-appreciation. You have to even like hold yourself that way and your posture. And it's just, I got a lot of lessons from that in just, you know, accepting myself, being kind to myself.
I love that lesson about being kind to yourself. We all need to learn more of that. And Courtney and your daughter were cheering you on. Coco was there from the sidelines. But that had to feel good.
Yeah, it did. It felt great.
Your daughter's throwing you kisses.
Yeah, she had some, I mean, talk about joy. You can just look at her and, you know, that.
Yeah, look at your face every day.
Yeah. His eyes light up.
Yes, when you mention her name.
You mention her name.
She's the greatest. I mean, it really is. Children are such a gift, and, you know, it's difficult at times, obviously, you know, with how much goes into raising them, but it is a gift, and it's something that unites all of us as people, and it's what makes us, you know, human and part of.
Tell us this is what we
world.
all want to know, because so many people were disappointed. I didn't mean to interrupt you, but we're on a time thing here. I just want to know, when you went home and were sitting with yourself, did you still feel some joy about the experience, or were you disappointed in being judged and voted off?
No, I had, after that experience on Sunday, I really took a look at it, and I really had accomplished everything that I had set out to do on that show. And so that's really where I was at peace after that. And so by the time I got voted off, it wasn't, I had accepted it, and it was, you know, just, it was all fun for me. I mean, for me, joy is laughter, it's love, it's really, you know, being true to yourself, which is super important to me, and being able to, you know, hold your head up high and look your friends in the eye and sort of see through clear eyes.
That's wonderful. Well, we're so happy for you, and thank you for bringing us joy all these weeks. You know, Dancing with the Stars airs Mondays at 8, 7 Central, and Tuesdays 9, 8 Central on ABC. I know you all know because our ratings go down on this show on Tuesday nights. I always tell, oh, it's Tuesday nights. They're making the decision.
Well, I'd like to thank you and thank all the fans because it brings me great joy to be able to entertain people. So I'm so glad people enjoyed it.
Thank you so much, David.
David.
Blessings. More joy to you.
You know, he just taught a lesson.
Yeah.
A lesson is that when we get the lesson,
Yeah.
or when we serve the purpose in an experience,
Yes.
it will come to an end.
Yeah. It's done.
It's done. Complete.
I think that's so prophetic what he just said,
Yeah.
actually, that Sunday night he really,
He got it.
he got it,
And
that
then
it was
got
done. He'd
voted
done
off.
all that he needed to do.
We need to understand that with marriages, with jobs, with friendships and associations. When the purpose is filled
You're
or
done.
the lesson is done, it's done.
And ultimately, that is the big one,
Yes.
that when your purpose is filled on earth,
Yeah.
the lesson is done. But it's so interesting. Somebody on Facebook, Natasha, just said, Oprah, would you ever do Dancing with the Stars? And I can honestly say, Natasha, I, who was scared as hell walking through fire, would rather walk through fire
Really?
than do Dancing
Why?
with the Stars.
I
think it's harder.
Oh, well, yeah, it's a lot.
For
more.
those of you on TV, we have to take a commercial break. Last week, we're in the learning curve here. So last week I said I wasn't going to say that. When I got home, I watched with Stedman, and it's crazy not to say you're going to commercial break. It just, when the commercial, all of a sudden I'd be talking, then whoop. There's that guy in the Chevrolet pointing up there for his wife to see the sign in there, and then you'd come back and then somebody be talking and you're like, well, who are they? And what are they talking about? So, okay, we're going to work it out. But you can keep watching online at Oprah.com and Facebook, but we will take a commercial break and we will be right back on the television. Okay? Be right back. That's great.
I know.
When you look at it, it's weird. Did you see it?
I did. I did see it.
You'd be in the middle of talking, then all of a sudden,
and then come back, it's a whole nother conversation. But you did pretty good about.
I was trying, but I didn't know where I was or what had been said.
You said that a couple of times. Where are we now?
Where are we, Dee?
We're in commercial break.
We're in commercial break.
We're on the way.
All right.
Okay, we're on the way. So that's great. Are you tweeting?
Did you tell people that class is in session? Okay, let them.
Did you tell them I was a firewalker? No, are you familiar with Tony?
Yeah. Long time.
I know, I love this. Where you been?
I know.
Chicago. Chicago, we're just getting around to it. That was pretty scary though. But Sherry and I laughed so much all day long, I thought I was going to pee in my pants. You know, when he's going around, Tony, and he's looking at people and looking at his eye, and he went over to somebody and he said to this guy, I can tell that you have issues with your weight, and I'm only saying that because I can feel that that's not okay with you. Sherry said, if he comes over here, I go, if he comes up to me and holds my belly and says, I can feel your Buddha belly, I said, I'm going to pee in my pants right here. Oprah, I know you're feeling. Because I wouldn't do that to you, but oh my God.
Was he in a large venue?
Yeah, it was like 4,000 people. It was
Wow.
11 hours
Yeah.
on stage.
Yeah.
Not peeing.
I know. It is really something that happens because I can do a day long. I can
Really?
do 9-10 hours and don't pee. Because you're in another.
In another state. You're
of
literally in
being.
another state. I know that. Didn't that what we said? But we're trying to work on the people. Okay. We're trying to work on trying to balancing the people and the online thing.
I have a question for you and I'll get beyond that.
Okay.
What was the
Oh, the Angela Hogley. Thank you, Angela Hogley. Thank you for Oprah for queuing to the commercial breaks. Angela, when you know better, you do better. I saw it. I realized. I got home and I went, this look crazy.
It did.
That's why people invented "We'll be right back"
That's
because
right.
you need to, because it's too disruptive when things just appear
Right.
like that. So that's right. They're nice.
So what's the question, General?
The question is, what was the ultimate joy rising moment for you as a child, Oprah and Ayanla?
Yana, let's hear
Stephen.
yours.
As a child?
As a child.
Becoming a teenager, hoping that some joy was coming. There were none. Oh no. Well, let me not say that. I do have one, the joy rising moment.
That's true. I'm with you, sister.
Lamb chop. You know Sherry Lewis's puppet Lamb Chop? Yes. That was my joy rising moment, to see lamb chop. And I have one. I got it off eBay for $65.
A lamb chop?
A lamb chop, yeah.
Oh, that is great. I would have to say, I can, you know, last night with, in the Robin session where because I was just going to observe, and then you end up doing that whole thing, going through your pain. You're supposed to share it with other people. I ain't sharing this. I'm not sharing my pain and then seeing it tweeted out later on.
Oprah was up in there crying the ugly cry.
Crying the ugly cry. But no, one of those questions about looking in your childhood and looking back to those moments that you felt loved in your childhood, I can't think of any. So those of you who have them, that's a wonderful thing to cherish.
I know, even if they were few and far between. It's funny because you think that how bad you had it, and then you realize what somebody else didn't have.
Yes.
It's kind of clear.
But no, in terms of like, can I think of a joyful thing that happened? My joyful moments were in school. You know, you all have seen Mrs. Duncan, my fourth grade teacher. So school is where I found my sense of validation and my sense of worthiness.
Mine was dancing, because I was a dancer.
Really?
Yeah, oh yes. Classical ballet.
We could see you on Dancing with the Stars.
I could be on Dancing with the Stars.
We're back on the air. I would pay to see that.
Pay me or them.
Yeah, I'm on Dancing with the Stars. We're back on the air live from OWN headquarters in Los Angeles. A few of you have been uploading your aha moments from Lifeclass on Oprah.com and Facebook too, I assume. Now I go Oprah.com, Facebook, Oprah.com, Facebook. Let's take a look.
So I had my aha moment during the life class lesson of holding on to the past. I was bullied in high school for years and held on to the feelings of anger and embarrassment and felt that if I forgave them, I was saying that it was okay, but learned that forgiveness is not telling them that it's okay or accepting that it's okay, but saying that I'm not going to live in the now, and I can work on letting all that go.
My husband and I have had a really rocky time during this recession, like so many other people. And I'll never forget when it all first started, I prayed. And I prayed and I prayed. I was certain at that point there's no way there could even be a God. How could I pray that hard and want something so much and be so faithful and not have it answered? I got my aha moment at the end of the show. You said that for years you'd been waiting on God to answer your prayers. And then you realized that he was actually waiting on you. And it was like this moment of just clarity. It was like, oh my gosh.
Oh, I love that. God said, get up off the floor, girl.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm waiting on you. Yeah. Keep those ahas coming. Many of you posted that Tuesday's live class, you can rise from the ashes of your life. I just love that. Was an awakening for you. Somebody said something to me nasty on the web, like, Oprah, I thought that was so pompous and whatever you. You know what? Everybody's entitled to their opinions. But I think when you look at someone like Christine McFadden, who was an incredible teacher for us, her story is unimaginable. Her ex-husband murdered all 4 of their children and then killed himself. She'd just gone out for a jog that morning. She comes back in and all 4 of her children have been murdered.
That's flatline of the brain.
That's flatline.
Having lost a child, I can't even imagine.
Yes. Christine helped many of us see that no matter what we're faced with, that if she can keep going, then we can too. So I know you know what that's like to have to rise up.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, you said someone said it was pompous of you to present that?
Yeah, just the whole thing was pompous, but we're not going to...
Well, no, there's a lesson. I'm the teacher. I'm looking for the lesson.
Okay.
I wonder what that triggered in a person, that they would come out that way. Mm-hmm. Usually we attack or we criticize and judge when there's a trigger within us. Mm-hmm. So I would just say to the pompous accuser,
yeah,
check out what that triggered in you.
Yeah.
And clean that up.
Yeah. Well, Heather is a college student from Wisconsin who saw that show, and she's struggling to move forward in her life. Let's look at Heather's tape.
The accident was June 30th, 2010, and me and my best friend, we were going to see the Twilight Eclipse movie. She was all super excited about it. She updated her Facebook status to "is loving life." We took off in my car, and it's a curvy road, been on the back road, that road 100 times, and I would hit one corner and overcorrected it. Everything just kind of went blank from there. I didn't find out until later that night that Erin didn't make it. I talked to her dad that night in the hospital. I apologized, and I was crying. And, you know, he just said that it was okay, it was an accident. I hated the fact that I lived. I just wanted to waste away into nothing. Everybody else was living with the pain, and I wanted to feel that punishment. It's almost been a year and a half, and there's not a day that doesn't go by that I don't think of either the accident or think of Erin in some way. Slowly, I've learned to stop punishing myself, but the hardest thing that I haven't been able to deal with is allowing myself to be happy.
Wow. So Heather is joining us from her dorm room at the University of Wisconsin. Thank you so much, Heather. You have a question for Iyanla?
Yeah, I do. In Lifeclass, you guys say that the past cannot define who you are, and I'm at that point where I want to accept and be happy, but I still carry so much anger. And how do I move on?
Anger toward what? Anger about what?
The anger and guilt that I feel because of the accident, because I lived and it was my fault.
It was your fault. The accident was your fault.
Well, I was driving.
Okay. Well, beloved, you know, my heart goes out to you. I do understand that sometimes we wish we could go back and undo what has happened, and we can't do that. But as far as, I hear 2 or 3 things going on. Guilt that you were driving the car that caused someone their death. Survivor's guilt, meaning perhaps you feel that you should have also died in the accident or expired in the accident. And then anger, I'm not sure what that's about. But what I will say to you is this, that grieving is a natural, organic process. There's no time, there's no formula, there's no prescription. And if I'm hearing you correctly, this was a little more than a year ago. Where you are is very natural, very normal. It really is. As devastating as this was, as tragic as it was, I would encourage you to give yourself permission and give yourself time to feel what you're feeling and go through it. Don't run from it. Don't cover it up. Don't dismiss it, deny it. Feel it. Keep
Somebody
a journal.
named Judy Johnson just said survivor guilt is natural. Been there, still there.
Yeah,
it was just a few seconds ago.
It's really natural. And the thing is, Heather, thank you. You're a good teacher for us tonight, because I'm just so aware, Oprah, of the depth of guilt in our country today and the depth of grief.
Yes.
She's grieving the loss of a friend. People are grieving the loss of their jobs, the loss of their homes, the loss of loved ones. So I think she raises for us this whole issue of how do we be in our guilt? How do we be in our grieving?
Well, Heather says she hadn't spoken to Erin's parents since right after the accident. So we reached out to them, and they sent this letter for Heather. This is what they want you to know. It says this, okay? Is this your first time hearing this?
Yes.
Okay. So this is what they say. To Heather, we know that you did not intend to hurt Erin. We also know that Erin's soul has a path bigger than our experience of her as a daughter and as a friend. We have never held you responsible for the shortness of her life. We have faith that she is where she is meant to be. We have always forgiven you for your role that day. You are only responsible for your actions and choices leading up to and since the crash. Our only wish for you is that you can come to terms with your role in this accident and find peace and healing for yourself. We are sure that would be Erin's wish for you as well. That's David and Denise Shipley.
Heather, what did you hear just now?
That they forgive me and they want me to allow myself to move on.
Okay. And when you hear that, how does that make you feel? What comes up for you?
It brings a lot of issues up because while I appreciate them forgiving me, while I want to be at that point, I still don't know if I can allow myself to let go quite yet.
What does it serve for you to continue to punish yourself and stay in guilt?
Yeah.
What does it serve? Because if it didn't serve a purpose, you wouldn't do it. What does it serve?
Right.
I don't know. I guess I feel if I move on completely, part of me allows it not to be as real.
Can it get any realer for you?
Probably not.
Okay, so there's something else you're getting out of staying stuck. Part of it is just the natural unfolding of the grief, and then some of it you may be getting something out of punishing yourself. That has absolutely nothing to do.
I think you know, obviously we're going to send their words to you, and you will have this because this tape plays back on the web over and over. But I think the fact that her parents can say that we've never held you responsible for the shortness of her life, and that we, her parents, have faith that she is where she is meant to be, and that Aaron's wish for you would be the same, for you to move on with your life. I think you really can't be offered more than that in terms of forgiveness and acceptance of what has happened. And this is, I think, an opportunity for you to seize that moment of grace and forgiveness that has been, you know, really awarded to you by them and her, to take advantage of the most, all the opportunities in your life as you live forward,
And some of it is just a natural grieving process.
Yeah. Some of it is, but yeah.
Stay with the fact that as it begins to feel better, give yourself permission to embrace that.
Yeah.
And to receive the gift.
Yeah.
Because not to receive the gift is then just tossing what they're doing.
It's discarding their grace, the grace that they're offering to you.
That's huge.
Yeah.
What grace?
Yeah. All right, Heather, thank you so much. We have to take a TV break. We'll keep talking online, though. That's powerful, and you're right. We'll take a break. She represents what so many other people are going through.
The grief, and...
But it's a process.
It is a process, and it's a process that encourages us to be patient with ourselves. Mm-hmm. It's a process that encourages us to really learn about surrender. Mm-hmm. Let it go. Let it go.
Do you believe in something bigger than yourself, Heather?
Not really at this point. I believe in my family and my friends, and that's the biggest thing for me.
Mm. Well,
so where do you tell yourself Aaron is?
I tell her, she's up, I know she's above me. I know she's up in that beautiful sky of hers, and she's watching over all of us.
Okay, so if you could get to that beautiful sky where she is, what do you think she would say to you? You knew her. What would she say to you? If you were to rise above this and meet her in that beautiful sky, what would she say?
Well, I think she'd give me that smile of hers that was absolutely amazing, and she'd wrap me in a hug, and she would say, "Sweetie, I forgive you, and I love you."
Marlene Scanlon Landry says something that I would want to say to you too. She's on Facebook. Marlene, this is brilliant. This is something I heard Phil say many years ago. Marlene says, tell her to celebrate life instead of reliving her friend's death every day, because that's what you keep doing. Why do you keep that's what Phil had said to a woman on our show. It was a big aha moment for me, that you spend days and days and days and days, years this woman had spent reliving the death, playing the death over and over and over in her head instead of celebrating the life that was. And you know, in that way you re-murder, and in your case, relive the accident over and over and over and over again when it has already happened, it is gone. And now what you must do is take charge of this moment now and live yourself forward. And you'll get there. You're going to get there.
And you're young. And can I offer you this? I don't know if you've done this, but you may even want to consider some counseling, because the trauma of being in the car where your best friend lost her life, that's trauma. So you may even have some post-traumatic stress going on. You just to consider that.
Yeah, but don't play it small. I heard you. I saw you receive the letter, but don't play that small. What that grace was. Don't make that. That's not a small thing, because I've done thousands of shows where people can't. They're still waiting on a letter. They're still waiting on somebody to say, it was okay, not okay, but I forgive you.
The car accident.
Yeah.
The woman 29 years in the wheelchair.
Yes, yeah.
When the
Still
guy,
waiting to hear the guy say,
please forgive me.
Please forgive me. So that's a big, big, big thing that they just offered you. And you should use the energy of that to help you propel yourself forward, if you can.
I want to really acknowledge the parents.
Yeah.
You know, that
the
many
Shipleys.
Parents, right, wouldn't understand that their child may have been a short timer.
Yeah.
To come and just for a short
That's a hard thing to come to grips with as a parent.
Really, really is. So good luck to you, my beloved.
Good luck, Heather. Thank you. We're back on TV. On Wednesday's Life Class, we got validated, one of my favorite life lessons from author Toni Morrison. Do your eyes light up when your kids enter the room? Isn't that just the best lesson?
Love it.
Do your eyes light up when you see your friends? Your eyes lit up when you saw them.
I know.
People just want to be seen and heard, and everybody wants to know that they matter. So Harel Sharon has a question about that show, and he's Skyping in all the way from Israel.
Wow.
And I'd like to say to I saw a couple of men on Facebook a few minutes ago. Rob Hernandez said, you know, are we the only guys out here? And a couple of other guys. And Rob Hernandez also says that he's been practicing what we've been saying on Life Class all week. So Rob, you're not alone. Those of you guys who are on, I don't know if guys Facebook as much as girls do they? They do? Okay.
Yeah, that's how they find girls. What? I have had people sending me their itinerary or their, what do they call them, whatever the guys have on Facebook. I'm like, ew.
Ew. Okay, we'll talk about that later. We're talking to...
You do not want me to find a man on Facebook.
No, I don't.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. Hello, Harel, how are you?
Hi, I'm wonderful. Hi, Oprah. Hi, Yanla.
What time is it? What time is it in Israel?
It's about 3:30 a.m.
What are you doing up?
Watching very good. I'm glad you're.
That is amazing that you're watching at 3:30 a.m. What were you doing? What did you do tonight?
Oh, not much. Just preparing for this mentally.
Mentally. All right, then you're on. Go ahead.
Well, as I'm going through my spiritual evolution, I realized there was one thought, one belief that was keeping me back and holding me back. And the belief is your life is small and insignificant.
Whoa.
And this belief is, I think, is why I'm looking for external validation, why I'm looking for acceptance and approval from other people. So my question for you, teachers of the world, is how do I move away from that, knowing intellectually this isn't true? And how do I validate myself?
I saw that, and I was reading your question before going, the producer had told me that you wanted to ask, that you had said, tell me if these are your words, I'm waiting for someone to hold my face, look me in the eye and say, you are not just a small town boy with no name, your life does matter. Why am I doing this and how do I move on from this feeling? Does it ever go away? That's the question, right?
Well, exactly.
Exactly.
Okay, so look at me. Give me your face. Give me your face. Come on. Look at me. Look, 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 look. Can you see me? You matter. You matter. You are not just an insignificant, small town little boy. You matter. And this ocean of life would not be the same without the drop of life that you are. You matter. You matter. Just as you are, you matter.
We all felt that. We all felt it all the way in Los Angeles. It's a long way from Israel. We're going to keep talking to Harel during the television break. We'll be right back. Those of you on TV, those of you online, keep watching. So, Harel, how did it feel just to hear that, to have your face caressed virtually?
Well, you know what? I think if you want someone to validate you, it has to be someone you can believe is telling the truth. So, as far as the Yanla is concerned, I believe.
You believe. That's nice. That's nice.
So, now that you know you matter, beloved, now that you know you matter, now that you know that we are waiting for who you are, and it doesn't have to be a huge, big thing, but if you just show up fully present in the being that you are, you will bless people. Their eyes will light up when you walk in the room because you matter.
Yeah, I would say that one of the things we all know, one of the things we were talking about in the lesson with validation this week, I don't know if you got to see that because you're in Israel and the television version isn't on in Israel, but one of the things I was saying is that everybody wants to know, and Toni Morrison emphasizes this so much through that lesson of do your eyes light up when your children enter the room. And I've said for years on the Oprah show, people want to know, did you hear me?
Yes.
Did you see me? And did what I say mean anything to you? And what I have learned, Harel, is that if you are looking for significance, the best way to find it is through service. Yeah. And that if you can focus on this question, ask the universe, whether you call that entity God, the force of life God, whatever you choose to call it, that which created you, how can I use my life in service? To yourself first, because you have to first honor yourself and serve whatever it is you were called to do, that your soul or spirit was called to do. And then how do you use the passion and energy of that to serve the world? And however that shows itself will be your contribution, your drop in this great ocean of life. And that is what really matters. What matters most is that you understand that it matters. But the question isn't how do I become significant? The question is how do I serve? That's what I think.
Because that is the demonstration of your significance.
Yes.
Not just for him, for everyone. We all have something bigger, grander, better to do. Just imagine you matter. So when you step out in the day, how you look, how you smell, what you say matters. How you greet people matters. You matter. You matter.
Well, the service thing, I can relate to that very much because I work with people with certain mental disabilities and Down syndrome and retardation.
We're back. We're still talking to Harel about how he matters. We're going to convince him across the ocean that he does. Okay, so you were saying, I had said during the commercial break, for those of you who are joining us back on TV, that the way to find significance in your life is through service. If you want to know that you matter to somebody, you got to figure out a way to give.
And he's doing it.
Yes,
he's
and he says he's doing
working
with Down syndrome children.
And children who have mental illness. So, Harel, what I want you to know, that as you now grow into your matterness, your mattering, that when you walk in the room, your presence is enough because you're serving. You matter, and your presence is enough. And you keep wearing that every day.
I love what A.J. Harper says on Facebook about a minute ago. A.J. says the fact that you are here, out of all the possibilities, you are here. We are all 1 in a million of possibilities. I always feel that way too, AJ. Thank you.
Yeah.
So watch, go to Facebook. Everybody's now talking to you, Harel. You're going to feel like you matter a lot by the end of the evening. Harel, by the end of this evening, you're going to go, I didn't know I mattered this much. To everybody, thank you all the way from Israel. All right, all your Facebookers, please let Harel know he matters. LaDanya, you're already doing it. LaDanya Parker says, yes, Harel, you matter, capital M-A-T-T-E-R. So thank you for calling us all the way from Israel. We love speaking to the world.
Another great teacher. And I would say to all the little boys who are now men who grew up without fathers, you matter.
You matter.
All the little girls who had their innocence and their beauty violated, you matter. To all of the kids who grow up in poverty and shame, you matter.
Wow.
You matter. Just take that in and allow it to resonate. That in and of itself will begin to heal at a deeper level.
I love that. Back in 2002, my next life classer became an overnight sensation with moviegoers in the smash hit My Big Fat Greek Wedding. She says life class has shown her she has made the right choices in life. We're in Hollywood, so she just decided to pop in. Because that's what people do when you're in Hollywood. They pop in. Welcome, Nia Vardalos.
What are you? I can go this way. Hi. How are you? Hi. Yeah, I was going for dinner with my friend Brian. Ian's working, so I just we stopped by before.
That's what people do out here.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
So you told our producers that Life Class is tailor-made for you. Tell me, what do you mean?
I, like most of the people on this earth, I watch you and pretend that you're my best friend. And so when I'm on the treadmill, this is what I look like. According to my husband, I'm watching your show on the treadmill and I do this. And I nod and smile because the things that you are saying are really resonating with me, and I'm loving that you're connecting everyone with Twitter and Facebook, but what is really, it's really about me. And here's what it is. I like to learn, and we adopted our daughter through American foster care, and what happened is, at first, I stepped back. I was, after My Big Fat Greek Wedding and then my next movie, Connie and Carla, your lesson of letting go of anger really resonated with me because I was very angry and I was in the middle of grief and I couldn't understand.
Why were you angry?
We had been trying for 10 years to create a child through natural ways and means. And it wasn't happening. I mean, even in fact, on the morning that I was nominated for an Academy Award, I was driving to the fertility clinic, arms shaking, going, no one would believe this. And so what happened is I stepped back. I stepped out and I calmly said, I'm not going to be on camera. I can't go to the red carpet and have Entertainment Tonight go, any baby news? And it was the best thing I could have done for myself. I know now. At the time, I didn't know what I was doing. I couldn't explain it to my family or friends or my agents were going, you're going to what? And I retreated. And mentally, I am much healthier now because I did it. So when I saw letting go of anger, I can now talk about that we were led to our daughter through all the things that didn't work led me to my perfect daughter, and I'm now the spokesperson for adoption from foster care.
And you couldn't have gotten there.
Couldn't have done it.
Unless you slowed yourself down.
Unless I slowed myself down, and I'm not angry anymore. And this is a crazy thing that I never thought I'd say. I am grateful that I could not have a child.
That's healing.
That is healing.
It's grateful. I'm grateful because she is my daughter. This girl is my daughter in every way.
She's your eyes all lit.
I know. I know.
Talking about it.
Yeah.
I know. She's really funny too. Like she does things like, you know, after Halloween, I can't eat cheese because I explode. And so I made out with some brie. And I woke up the next morning and I was all bloated and she went, Mommy, are you wearing a different nose?
But we can feel your joy radiating. Somebody named Karen Black just said, love you so much, Nia. Your joy radiates. We can feel it.
That's nice. It's my $29 red dress.
All right. That brings me joy.
Nothing like a $29 red dress. Where'd you get it?
I got it on the corner of La Brea and Beverly. Doesn't it sound like, yeah. There's a store there. There's a store there called Veronica M or something, and they have stuff that, I don't know if this is a knockoff of Prada or it came from someone's trunk, but they have stuff that you can buy.
That whole dress was $29.
Yes, isn't it crazy? I know.
I wear anything that costs $29.
That is fantastic.
I know, isn't it
for $29.
great? Yeah.
Thanks for stopping by.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks
Thank
for
you.
watching on the treadmill and otherwise.
Tweet
We're going to take a break. We'll continue on online.
I tweet my friends.
You do?
Yeah.
Classes and
Taking a break, TV people. Be right back. Oh boy, that's great.
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 It's good to see you.
Do you still see Rita?
Yeah, she actually baptized our daughter. She is, Rita, we're all still online, right?
Yeah.
Rita Wilson is our daughter's godmother. And it was a really important event for me to sort of share what I was going through with selected friends.
Yeah.
If you're in the middle of grief, all you want to do is get to the other side of it.
Yeah.
You know, and you can't hurry
like
it.
Heather girl, yes.
Yeah, you have to.
What did you learn? What did you learn about having something that you wanted so deeply not manifest the way you thought it would manifest? Because did you want a child or did you want to have a baby?
Well, the lesson of you believe what you will become.
Yeah.
I kept seeing myself as a mother, and my best friend, Kathy, said, you know, having a child is not what makes you a mother.
That's right.
And so there were moments, in the grief, there were moments where you take that. Now, she might have said that here and I wouldn't have heard it, but she said it here and I took it in. And my mom said, I said, I might just go to China and come home and say, this is your granddaughter Ping. And my mom said, that's whatever you want to do. And I just went, okay, you know, like each step led me to.
I love that having a child isn't what makes you a mother.
Yeah. It is not. It's not. And when I heard about American foster care, I had the same misconceptions, and I was worried about the myths, and that's why I feel like it's my calling to use my big mouth to talk about these kids in American foster care, because they didn't have a voice. Actually, when I found out, why are there 120,000 legally free children, and I didn't know about it, and the woman said, our social worker said, well, we've been waiting a long time for someone like you.
Which you wanted to say, we've been waiting for a big mouth like you.
I think that's what she was saying. So I think it is finding out, like the man in Israel, finding out what it is you're supposed to be doing and just listening and then doing it. Yeah.
Doing it. Well, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
You sit right there.
Thank you.
Okay.
You're good. $29. Do you think you can wash it?
I don't know. I don't know. We'll have to. I'm gonna. You know what? I'm gonna take a picture of it after I wash it, and I'll tweet it to you.
Yeah, please.
It might be on a Barbie.
I want to know how it holds up after a washing. Yeah.
Cold water.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
You're right.
Okay. No. So somebody always has to top you. Sonia Fiddler. I sell dresses for $25.
And went broke.
And went broke 2 seconds ago. Okay, Sonia Fiddler. It's hard to find a $29 dress that looks good.
Yeah. Yeah, it's hard to find. I mean, sometimes you'll find something, but then it'll pill and stuff. But still, one wearing.
Yeah. Oh, you can get 2 out of that one.
Yeah, you think?
Actually, more than that. Don't you hate it though? I hate it though when you spend something, you spend a lot of money on something, and then the button comes off or a thing, because you think if you paid for like a Donna Karan thing, it should never, ever, ever.
Like my $400 Yves Saint Laurent shoes I bought in 1952. That I still have.
They should hold up forever. We're going to go to Janice. Is this 5? Act 5? What?
We'll have about 2.5.
I'm looking for a clock.
Right here, babe. We've got about 13 minutes left.
Really? What about all these people?
We haven't done it. Did we teach
what about, okay. We're still on TV?
No. 30 seconds.
Oh, now I'm deferring to the TV people. Online people, I know, don't.
Don't tweet you. Don't tweet you.
I know you're going to complain to me later that I gave shortchange to online people. I'm just trying to keep a balance, because last week I looked crazy. Just in and out. Nothing was said. So I'm trying to now keep it free moving here. But I love reading what people have to say. Sherry, we haven't been to you.
Oh my gosh, well thank goodness you've come to me. You know, there's a very, very poignant tweet, about Heather. Wendy Whalen sent it, and just by appearing on the show tonight, you have saved someone's life. Let it go, sweetheart. God bless you. Kiss, kiss. A lot of people have been responding to Heather and her pain.
Really?
For what happened with her friend Aaron, and a lot of bing bings this moment.
Okay, Sherry, you can be quiet now.
Okay.
I was just using you to get to the next bridge. And I thought you knew that. How long have you been working with me?
She's going into this long,
You're going into the thing. I didn't want to know
she
all
was
that.
going like this.
Okay, after last week's class, I know many of you were very upset about the advice that Iyanla gave to Janice, one of our life classers. Here's what happened then.
My dad left when I was 6. And I felt like I have forgiven him and that I've let it go. But I also don't have a relationship. And I've seen him maybe 5 times over the past 20 years. My question is that when crazy comes in your own family, and when you know that this isn't good for you, is it okay to forgive and walk away and never have a relationship again?
Well, first of all, let me just say I completely hear you and honor, but as in the universal schemes of things, it's never appropriate to call your father crazy or your mother. It's just not, because we're taught honor thy mother and father. As children, you have to stay. As adults, you get to choose. So if you're still feeling that this is not a good place for you, not a good relationship for you, you are under no obligation to be in relationship with him. But start from a place of respect. That is your father. He lent his body to God to give you life. Now, the mere fact that he didn't live up to his human responsibilities is not something for you to judge, because he doesn't have to answer to you for that. He has to answer to God.
Woo! Let me just say, I know that advice ruffled a few feathers, including Janice's herself, including my friend Gail, I was on the phone with for hours saying, well, you should have said something. I was waiting on you to say something. Teresa H. said, I find it extremely hard to honor thy mother and father because of all the hatred and abuse that I had to put up with. Liz Ratu wrote, sometimes family is crazy and it's okay to see it, name it, and walk away. I tweeted with somebody and said, listen, I understood what Iyanla was saying, and I also understand what all of you are saying. Janice, first of all, you must know it was no one's intention here to shame or embarrass you. And I understood that when you said, when you see crazy coming across the street, that you were really talking, you were saying that to honor Iyanla, because that's her term. And if you see crazy coming in your own family, should you, leave that alone? My interpretation, then I'm going to let you say what you're going to say. I'm not sure what you're going to say.
No.
Okay.
No,
but
it's all right.
My interpretation of that, as I was trying to explain to my friend Gail on the phone after the show.
Well, Gail did call, though.
Yeah, Gail called, and she felt that we did not service her answer properly.
Okay.
My interpretation was that you were saying, you were using the term honor, not as a biblical term, as most people took it. A lot of people said, there you are preaching the Bible in Christianity, even though it is stated in the Bible. But the
Bhagavad Gita.
Okay.
And the Torah.
Yeah. Let me finish. Okay. My understanding of that was that you must honor, not honor in you must applaud or give esteem to, but you must have a sense of knowledge and appreciation, and therefore acceptance of what you've come through biologically, spiritually, and emotionally. That is what I understood that you were saying, and that you honor the fact that you have come from that. I did not hear you saying, that's why I didn't challenge it in the moment, I did not hear you saying that you must then accept it into your life.
Oh, absolutely not.
Yeah.
No. Want me to talk now?
Yes, you
okay,
can.
Now. I'm so grateful for this opportunity, because this very situation points out the challenge we face at looking at intellectual and physical constructs, looking for spiritual concepts. So when I say honor as an intellectual and a spirit and a physical construct, we think, bowing, and no, I don't mean that. Right. Awarding, right, and celebrating and celebrating. Right. But from a spiritual perspective, to honor means to hold simply in a non-judgmental positive regard, simply because they gave you life. And I think I even offered the African proverb that if you eat well, you must speak well. The mere fact that you are here alive complaining about what they did is a function of the fact that they gave you life. You have to honor that. That doesn't mean that you don't get to tell your story. It doesn't mean that you don't get to choose how to be in relationship with them. It doesn't mean that however they were or whoever they were, it was okay with you. It simply means that as your parents, as your mother and your father, because I believe in the pit of my being, you chose them.
Yeah.
Your soul chose them.
Yeah, well, that's 303. That's not 101.
Okay. Well, then here, non-judgment.
Okay,
non-judgment.
Okay, we're going to continue this conversation online as we take a break. Now, the real thing is, I thought that we're taking a break, but if you're online, you get to hear what I really think. No, I actually thought when she said that, I thought you were going to say, because I understood her saying, you know, when you see crazy coming across the street, so she was sort of making reference. And I thought you were going to say, crazy is as crazy does. That's what I thought you were going to say. And I thought you were going to say, of course, if your father has, you know, done something that causes you to not to be able to be in relationship with him, and you can't, because I know you believe that
we did say you get to choose.
And you can also divorce your parents.
Oh, absolutely. And you get to choose.
Yes.
But do it from a place of clarity that I'm taking care of myself and I'm honoring myself. So rather than be in relationship with them where they're not in the place, the mindset, the consciousness to honor me and take care of me, I choose. Remember I said a couple of weeks ago, you don't get to tell people how to love you. You get to choose how you will be in relationship with their loving. Yeah. So if your father, your mother, your parent, they're an alcoholic or they're schizophrenic or whatever it is that they are experiencing, you don't get to say they can't love you the way they do because of what's going on with them. But you do get to choose, my mother's a schizophrenic, my father's an alcoholic, my mother is this or that, and I'm choosing to love her from a distance. That's honoring her, as opposed to being in her face, in judgment, in gossip, in upset.
So do you think the term crazy itself, because a lot of people...
It's a judgment.
Yeah, that a lot of people felt that you had a problem with the term crazy.
It's a judgment. I don't have a... First of all, this is another lesson. I don't know her father. She didn't tell me anything about him other than she wasn't in his life. So when she said to me, crazy, in the same context of her speaking about her father, I just put the two together because she never said my father's crazy. She talked about her father and then made the statement about crazy. So I'm just assuming that those two things were related. Perhaps I was wrong. But I couldn't sign on to that because I don't know the man. And for me to sign on to her calling him crazy is a third-party conversation that quickly reduces into gossip. So I simply said it is not appropriate. I didn't say it was wrong. I didn't say it was bad. It's not appropriate under any circumstances to call your father crazy or your mother. Just isn't. Now, that may be an issue that they're dealing with in their life, but you chose them.
That's 303.
Okay, so let me break that down. Let me break that down.
That's too...
Okay, it's still a judgment. Still a judgment. So the question becomes, what is my soul offering me? What is the learning possibility that my soul is offering me from a mother like this?
Okay, but let me just say this, and people said this to me online too, and I felt this too, but I heard what you were saying. I knew you weren't talking about now you must bring your father in.
No,
have a celebration.
No.
Because I do understand that you chose them, and so you have to make peace with that. But there's been so many people who've been literally tortured by their family members and tortured by their family members. We've done stories where people were we back on the air? Come on, get over the commercial. Okay, now we're back. Okay, so there's so many people who have experienced terrible things from their families and...
Rape, violation, molestation.
Right.
My mother kept me drunk in the womb. She was an alcoholic.
Okay.
She kept me drunk in the womb and then died and abandoned me and left me with a wonderful group of very delightfully interesting people who did do all sorts of torturous things for me.
Yes, but you still feel that you have no right to call your mother crazy.
No, in my soul, I bowed to her. I bowed to her in gratitude for this life that she gave me. And I bowed to her asking her forgiveness for my judgments of her.
We have to wrap up Life Class live on TV, but you know we're going to keep going on Facebook and Oprah.com because this conversation isn't over. And there's so many comments from you all on Facebook. Standing by is Tangela from last night's Life Class. She ran through her neighborhood in a bikini to step outside her box. Look at you, girl. That was 9 years ago. Find out what happened to her as we keep the conversation going online. Janice, thank you for stirring up all of this. At least y'all are watching. I appreciate that. There you go.
Birthing this baby.
Birthing this baby. Okay.
So I would continue to say, and I'd say it to anybody, if you have an issue with
Okay, Timothy Mark Robinson, I love Timothy. Isn't respect something that's earned? Parent, wife, anyone?
No, not when it comes to parents. Not when it comes to parents. And again, you are taking an intellectual construct and trying to decipher a spiritual concept.
Well, I hear you when it comes to, I hear what you're saying, that if you're a child, your parent is your parent. I do think that you have the right as an adult
to choose.
If you're in a relationship with a parent who, don't use the word crazy, but you know that's what they are.
Right. But what is it? What do you mean crazy? Are they narcissistic? Are they addicted to substances? Are they mentally ill? Are they paranoid schizophrenic? Are they OCD?
Means what it means to me, what I heard, and we all hear what we want to hear, but what I heard Janice saying was she felt there was some toxicity going on there.
Yes, I get that.
Okay, so I have in
and say my father is toxic and I'm choosing to keep our relationship at a distance. That's all it is. Because otherwise, it's, you know, you got, remember I said last week, those whom the devil would snare, he tells not a lie, but a lesser truth. You know, so it's a lesser truth to say, you know, I can love my father and honor my father, but that crazy man, it's got to be clean.
Okay, so now you got to clean, you got to say, because I saw all the faces out here going, what? When you said, no, not when it comes to your parents.
Not
respect
when it comes
isn't
to
earned. Your parents don't have to earn your respect?
Not as children, no. And most of us have issues with our parents for what they did to us as children, because as adults we get to choose. As adults we get to choose.
Oh yeah, people are going crazy about
this. Well, that's okay. And again, it's applying intellectual constructs to a spiritual concept. I don't need agreement. That's how I live my life. Everybody gets to choose how they want to live too. And if we're talking about spiritual healing and spiritual growth and spiritual development, then it may mean that we have to surrender some of our intellectual and philosophical judgments. It's a judgment. If your father is a whatever, or your mother is a whatever, then call it what it is and release the judgment. And
Deborah Hunter Limpt is with you. She says, again, respect does not mean accepting their behavior.
Absolutely.
It means, this is what Iyanla is saying, but the reason I'm like scared to go there, literally scared to go there, because I don't want to hear from all of the fundamentalist people telling me I'm crazy.
Well, I'll be crazy with you.
Okay.
That's their judgment.
Okay. The reason why she's saying this fundamentally is because of your belief that the soul chooses where it chooses
to come to learn what
the
it
lessons
needs
it
to learn.
So if you're looking at it from that advanced 303 level, which we'll be getting to in the future, that your soul chose to be with the parents that you came into, no matter how crazy that might have been for you.
Let's call it toxic.
Okay, toxic.
Okay.
You got an issue with the word crazy. Well, and we got it, but the reason why Janice was so upset, and I hear her, is because she took the word from you. The word was, if you see crazy coming, cross the street, which is an Iyanla-ism.
I get it. I absolutely get it. And I still would say that to call your mother and father crazy is not appropriate. Doesn't say you can't do it. I mean, you're grown, you can do what you want to do. It's just not appropriate in the process of healing. In the process of healing.
In the process of healing, I understand. Those are 3 words you left out.
Well, I'm crazy. What do you want from me?
In the process of healing. You didn't say that.
In the process of healing.
Okay, well, if you want to heal, then you wouldn't call them crazy.
Right.
But if you're just talking, yeah, I understand that.
Okay,
Everybody gets that.
Okay, so I see what you're saying.
Yes.
Okay, let me see. I was in 303. Let me come
You're in
back down to 101.
Bring it down. Come on.
Break it down, sister girl. Break it down.
Yes.
So if you're saying, girl, my mother is crazy as a loon.
Yes.
And I have said, well, that's my grandmother, but I won't. That doesn't matter. But the point is this. Please understand.
Did you just hear? Did you have a bing bing moment, Jess?
Yeah, I had. Oh, a bing bing.
Bing bing moment. Got it. You had the bing bing moment yourself because you're up here.
I'm up here. Got you.
We're here.
Let me humble and lower myself.
Yeah, we're trying to say, my God, you can't say you've been disrespected by your parents.
Oh yes, you can say that, but to say description in the process of your healing, to use, you know, they're crazy, or what they did was crazy, or how they act is crazy in the process of your healing.
And I understand if you're trying to heal, then you need to understand that. Dean, look at Dean. Dean's like, what? Now, Dean, are you with us, Dean?
Did you get that, Dean?
I did.
Did that clear it up for people?
Are you cleared, or is it still confusing, Dean? That looked confusing.
I'm clear.
You're clear.
I know what she's saying about your parents. You honor them no matter what happened.
Yeah.
Because they are the ones that brought you here.
The fact that the reason that you hear complaining about them is because they brought you here.
Even though they did some really terrible things to you.
They did what they did based on who they are and the information that they had at the time. The fact that it had a negative impact for you is a growing, learning, healing opportunity.
I understand that, but you left out the healing part. You left out the healing part.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah, because you know what keeps coming to mind, Dean? Because Dean's been with me through 25 years of shows. Remember that little boy who was caged in his home?
Yeah.
And I think of that, the chain being around his neck. And he's caged and left in the closet for 6 years by those crazy people.
Well, they violated him. They abused their position in his life. And one day he will tell that story.
And he did. He told us the story.
And as he tells the story, prayerfully he will tell it in a way that empowers others, encourages others to come forth and tell their story. Because your story will heal you. And in the telling of it for healing purposes, your story will heal somebody else. But just to throw that out there, because you interrupted and said, what's your question? Because she was telling the story, but we weren't getting anywhere. So you said to her, okay, tell me what your big question is. And then the question she asked was about being in relationship with him.
Yeah.
So the encouragement I offered was, don't call your parents crazy. However, and I said that first. I honor you and what you're saying. I thought she wanted to heal not being in a relationship with him when I said to her, heal it in here first. But if in here you're saying they're crazy, it's not going to get healed.
Ebony Cullen Patterson says, I want to hear more about my soul choosing my parents. Please expound. Oh, Lord, Ebony. Well, I'm not going there with you tonight,
well, let me tell you.
No, that's 303.
Page 72 in Peace from Broken Pieces. It's all laid out. Page 72.
Okay, page 72.
In Peace from
Broken Pieces.
Go get that.
You can start to open yourself up to it.
She'll be promoted.
Sylvania Williams says, preach, Ayanla.
So that's all we're saying. But you know what? Here's what I would ask everybody to consider. Why is it that letting your parents off the hook, letting them off the hook, not saying it was okay, not acting like it doesn't matter. Because we think
by letting them off the hook is saying it's okay.
Never.
That is why. That is why.
Never.
By letting them off the hook, it's like saying it's okay.
And no,
so you're
not.
saying that made people feel like, so I can't call it what it is?
No, you can call it what it is without the judgment and the name calling of your parents.
If you want to heal.
If you want to heal. If you don't want to heal, right, just add that little caveat, right?
If you want to stay stuck where you are,
then keep calling
like last week there was somebody on, I can't remember, in the front row. Remember the girl when we started talking about it?
With her dad.
Yes, her dad. And
remember,
you said,
every nail you hammer in your father's hand keeps you on the cross.
Yeah.
Every nail you hammer in his hand, you are on the cross. And she was really having a hard time.
No, and you
with
said to
that.
her, you would rather be, you just want to be right.
Yeah, you want to be right. And this is the other place we get
You don't
stuck.
even really want peace. You just want
to be right.
You want to make them
about how wrong they
are.
were.
Yeah.
And it's part of your Wednesday show where their pain was invalidated. And when many of us suffer or go through these difficulties and challenges, we want our pain to be validated.
Yes.
We want someone to say, as I said to her, you didn't deserve that. And I'm so sorry you went through it.
Yeah.
You know? But she was so busy trying to be right about how wrong he was that you couldn't even
hear
receive
it. You couldn't even receive
Right.
it.
So to all of you who had parents whose toxicity impacted you in harmful, painful ways, torturous things, and I'm grateful that I didn't have to go through some of that. I had my own. I say to you, you didn't deserve it. You didn't do anything wrong. And I think that that's the thing that so many of us get stuck in. We think they did it to us because we did something wrong.
Yeah.
You
Sherry,
didn't do anything
Sherry, you're
wrong.
beating your chest. Why?
Oh, I was putting myself in a state.
Okay. Right.
Yes. What we learned last night.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. A lot of ahas coming up on the board here from that, Iyanla. So one guy
Say this one thing, that they get what you're saying. Once you put it in context of if you want a spiritual healing.
Yeah, that's the key word that was missing.
You didn't deserve it.
Yeah.
You didn't do anything wrong.
No. Key word was if you want
to heal. Right.
Because a lot of us would like to just be mad.
Yeah, we want to be mad. And we want to be right about how wrong they
That's
were
right.
because our pain
and you
has
know
never
what?
been
I think
validated.
this is what I think is interesting. You need to be aware enough, because all of these classes are about your own spiritual awakening. You need to be aware enough to know that I just want to be mad for a while longer, and then I'm going to heal next week.
Yes. Now, this is, let me tell you my quick little lesson. I know we're not on TV anymore.
No, we're on the web. We're around the world.
Okay.
Harel is still watching in Israel because he's just waiting to see how many more people are going to tell him he matters.
So let me confess, and then let me tell you my aha moment. So when we did get a call that said that someone on one of the callers was upset about something that I said, and the producer called, and then my manager called me and said that, and immediately when I heard that, what I heard in my head, behind my two eyeballs, between my two ears, my own virtual reality, because we all have one, I heard, ooh, you in trouble.
Really?
Yes. You did the wrong thing, because that was my issue as a child. I always did the wrong thing, said the wrong thing. Right.
Yeah.
No, ooh, you in trouble. So I immediately heard that, and I had to take a breath and grow myself up from 6 to 50, what I am today. You understand? So the thing is, that when we hear certain things, it triggers up something in us.
Yeah.
And if you are not conscious of what that thing is, that's the lesser truth. That will get you all riled up, and you'll be running and trying to defend and protect and whatever, you know. And this work, this life class work, this listening, this affirming, praying, whatever it is we're doing.
And I hope you guys are still going on to the daily work, because that is really where
don't slack up on your homework.
Don't slack up on the
Slack
homework.
up.
You only have a week left. I meant to say that.
Are we getting a grade?
Not this semester.
Not this semester. Okay, we're auditing.
Everybody's going to pass.
We're auditing.
Yes, everybody's going to pass.
Everybody's got an A.
Everybody's going to get.
You get an A.
You get an A. Well, some people are getting higher grades than others in their own assessment. One guy I tweeted with this week is on Skype, Jackson Gel. Jackson, I just saw your cute picture, and I said to my team, find that guy, Mr. Cutie Pie, catching up on Life Class.
I'm validated.
Yeah, you're validated. So where are you, in New Mexico?
Yes, I'm in Las Cruces, New Mexico.
Okay. So what I loved is that you just tweeted catching up on Life Class, and that you were learning a lot of lessons. So what's been going on with you?
Oh, well, you know what? I've been in love with Life Class for like several reasons. First of all, I think everybody has personal things going on in their lives that the tools and the lessons in Life Class, we can use them. Everybody can use them. That's why I've been so excited and tweeting this to all my friends. But I had a huge aha moment on Wednesday night that I wanted to share with you guys.
Okay.
Wednesday night was the validation show on OWN. And they were talking about, you can know that someone's important to you, and you can know that they matter, but unless you share that with them, they can't see it. They cannot see it unless you show them that you care. So I was thinking about some experiences I'd had with my mom. As young people, we're always on our Blackberries and our iPhones and our iPads and our computers and whatever. And I remember times when my mom would be, trying to tell me something about what was going on in her day, or just have a conversation with me, and I'd be, glued behind my phone or my iPad or my computer, and it clicked on Wednesday night that by not engaging in that conversation with her, I was making her feel as if she didn't matter and as if she wasn't important. And it just hit me. When we're having these interpersonal interactions with people, put down the phone. Yeah. Put down the iPad. Close the computer. That stuff can wait. The text can be sent later. The tweet can be sent later. Engage in that interpersonal interaction with whoever it is. And I know technology is so integrated into our lives. We take this stuff for granted, and sometimes I think maybe we don't consider how much the technology can take away that interpersonal relationships with people actually physically present with us.
Jackson, I think that's so great, because you know what that shows me is that you realized in that moment, literally, that your eyes were not lighting up when your mom came into the room.
No, they weren't, and she does not deserve that, because I know that her eyes
does that to me all the time.
Like crazy when she sees me. So I'm gonna make an effort now. From now on, when my mom comes up to me, I'm gonna put the phone down. My eyes are gonna light up, and this goes for everybody. And I'm going to show them that they matter and that I care about the relationship and what they're saying.
Jackson, thank you, my tweet buddy.
But I was saying, my son does that. We'll be out somewhere together.
Can I just say this before we get off with you? You actually look like your picture. So many people have used the picture from 10 years ago. You actually look like your picture. Thank you so much. Keep watching. Next week's our last week. But sometimes your son will do what you were saying?
We're out together, and he's on the phone talking, and I'm having this. He have the other half of the conversation, and I want to know what's going on. I try not to do that unless it's business. When you're with somebody, don't be on the phone having a whole nother conversation.
That's right. It's so invalidating.
It is very
non-validating, if whatever the word is. Okay.
I think I'm emotionally wounded, and I'll need a life class all my own.
Last night's life class was all about stepping out of your box. We saw Oprah show guest Tangela doing that big time with her bikini run through a neighborhood. I would rather walk on fire. She was teaching us to love our bodies no matter what. Tangela's on Skype. Can you believe that was 9 years ago?
9 years ago this month. Isn't that amazing? It just turned all the way around. Just phenomenal.
How did that look at you? Hallelujah. So how did that moment change you? How did that moment change you?
Oh my God. First of all, when I stepped out the box, it was like the shadow of the box kept following me. And what do I mean, the shadow of the box? It's the regrets, it's the pain, it's the unforgiveness. I knew I was out of the box because the sun was shining. Because when you're in the box, it's total darkness. So I'm like, I know I'm not in the box, but yet I'm not free of it. It's more or less like the placenta was still connected. And I was like, I want to be totally free. So I liken it unto forgiveness. You know how you want to always constantly want to forgive? So I got out the box. I stayed out the box. And I don't know when it happened. But one day, 1 minute, 1 second, I realized I don't remember where the box was. And I felt so much freer because I released all of the regrets, the low self-esteem, the self-hatred. And I was like, oh my God. And then I started learning about the ego. And one of the lessons I've learned is don't let your ego get in the way of you living your life, because it'll just stop you in the middle of everything. And then that shadow was like the shadow of the valley of death. And I was like, my God, Tangela is just a shadow.
Hey, Tangela, can I stop you 1 second? Because Wendy Whalen just said, yeah, put Wendy Whalen, LOL, Oprah, why don't you and Iyanla walk on fire while wearing your bikinis?
I'll do it. I'll do it. I'll do it. I'll do it.
Okay.
Okay, we'll do it. I said, I'll do it. Then I said, we'll do it.
No, thank you.
I got French.
No, I love that it was LOL. That should be falling on the floor.
Right.
Or whatever that is, falling off my ass or whatever the term is.
You can't fall off your ass.
What is the thing? What did you tell me last week?
Roll on the floor, laughing my ass off.
Okay.
Ooh, I said it. The spiritual teacher.
That was Wendy. Woo! Spiritual teacher. Wendy Whalen just said that. But anyway, so you were changed after you were able to do it and then release the shadow of the box also.
Right, because there's shadows, there's echoes that are constantly following us.
Yeah, a moment like that, just like walking on fire last night, a moment like that, you running through the neighborhood, is symbolic, is a catalyst, but it's just the beginning of opening up that door for all the things that also need to be forgiven, as you said, resolved, worked through, and all that. You're a great example to us. Thank you, Tangela. And you look beautiful.
Yeah.
Yes, I found they can get into a size 10, not because I lost the weight, but I lost the weight in my mind.
Yeah, that's
and
fantastic.
That's the most powerful thing.
Well, you look healthy and strong and beautiful. That's what's really, really important.
And your house is nice, too.
Nice flowers in the back. Very nice.
Oh, well, thank you. They said it's at a friend's house. This is at Michelle's house. I want to be like her when I grow up.
I'm trying to give you the credit. Leanne from Connecticut is also Skyping in with a question. Quite a few of you asked about validation. So, Leanne, where are you there? Hi there.
Hi, I'm here, Oprah. How are you?
Hi, I'm here.
I'm so excited. I'm all the way in Connecticut, and we're social workers and therapists. We work for the City of Norwich Human Services Department, and when I saw your last show and the quote about, do you see me, do you hear me, does what I say matter to you, I thought that would be great if we put it on placards throughout the office so that when we go out to see a client, we're just always present and reminded that we should be taking, the time to talk to our people and really listen to what they have to say. So I think that we're doing a great job at that in my office. My question is, how do you keep up that intensity when you get home? Because really, when you come home, it's, you're with the people that you love the most and the people who you really need to validate the most, but it's after a long work day, you're tired, you're exhausted, you're spent. My husband actually said to me once, he said, I'd almost rather be your friend than your husband, because I knew what he meant, that I take so much time with my friends and my clients and my coworkers. So that's my question. How do you keep up that intensity when you come home?
I think you let Jackson, who was just on, be a leading teacher for us tonight. I think you start where you are, and I thought that was a beautiful, beautiful teaching lesson, Jackson. Down in New Mexico. Put your phone down.
Yeah. And also, I mean, it's real, because she's a social worker. I'm sure she sees people who are in crisis, difficulty. But for all of us, we wash our bodies, we brush our teeth, but we don't clean our energy. Mm-hmm. And so you're probably bringing home an energy. When you get to your door, literally, I mean literally, shake it off. Shake it off. Shake off the day. Clean the people off of you. Bring yourself present in, and you may feel stupid doing this, but you bring cooties with you. Really, you do.
I think that's really good. Do not, for everybody, not to bring your mental and emotional cooties into the house.
Yes. Yeah. And you have to do it.
He is nodding on the cootie.
Yeah.
The cootie.
Yeah. Right. I think that's excellent. That's really good advice.
Yeah.
That's one of the reasons
shake off the cootie before you come in the door.
And do things to clean your energy. Some Native Americans burn sage.
Yes. Speaking of Native Americans burning sage, may I just say that on this Sunday there is there's the Lisa Ling Our America series on the veterans. Is one of the most powerful things I've ever seen. It's Sunday night at 10 o'clock, 9 Central. And it is
I've been
extraordinary.
Watching. Yeah.
It's extraordinary. This week is extraordinary because these veterans who come back with PTSD, with no resources, nobody to help them, they went to this Indian sage healer, and the miracles that happened with these
medicine man.
Yeah. It is amazing. You will really appreciate that. Thank you so much. I hope that helps.
Clean your cooties up.
Thank you.
Cootie Lane. And also put the phone down.
Put the
I mean,
phone
it's
down.
it's impossible for everybody to do everything at once. So I like Jackson because that's just starting small. When somebody is talking to you, let's just be conscious of somebody is speaking to you.
Yeah.
Can you not be doing this while somebody is speaking to you? Because that is really just rude. Do we not all think that's rude?
It's also unloving. It's you know, for me, and then I'm doing, this is 404 class. It's violent.
Oh,
it's a form of violence.
You didn't have to go there.
Okay.
I don't think it's all that.
Well, spiritually, but we won't have that.
Okay,
have
no,
that
404, I
conversation.
can't even take
You
that.
can't even do 404.
No,
okay.
Yeah, okay.
But it's a form of violence. All right.
Why?
But no, because I don't want you to be answering blogs.
No, well, now you need to answer why it's violent if you're...
Because it's a dismissal and a denial of life. Another person in your presence is the presence of life. And for you to just dismiss it, deny it, ignore it, is an act of spiritual violence.
Okay.
Spiritual violence.
Put the phone down. Put the phone down.
Let's just leave it right there.
Yeah,
okay?
spiritual violence. I do see that. How that if you're really honoring life, if you're giving reverence to life and you're appreciating life for what it really is, somebody is in your face, and in that moment, what you're saying is, you do not matter.
You don't matter. I don't see
But who I'm talking to right now matters more than to you. I don't see you and you don't matter. Okay, Will from Toronto just Skyped in. Hey, Will.
Hi, Oprah.
Another man. This is exciting.
You don't get out enough.
You have to tell the world.
Oh, gosh. Go ahead, Will.
Well, thanks for having me.
Thanks.
So I was watching Joy Rising today, and, you know, I was expecting to laugh and, you know, kind of have my cup filled, which it was, but I found myself actually crying a lot, and I was really touched by the Princess Fanny story and Katrina, and I think there was really a hidden message there. So I'm wondering, what advice do you have for finding joy in a really difficult situation? I was taught in the church to count it all joy, no matter the circumstance, but just wondering what advice the two of you have.
My advice is what I was saying earlier. You know, for me, that Princess Fanny episode that we did for Joy Rising today is all about finding a way to serve somebody. First, it was small ways, you know, and with a car and the little crown on her head, finding ways to bless other people's lives in any situation, however small that blessing might appear to you. I remember when I was on trial for saying something bad about a burger, and I was down in Texas, and there, you know, I felt like, wow, this is amazing. There wasn't even a brown person on the jury. And I felt pretty alone during that time. And I remember walking in, I shall never forget, I could tear up thinking about it, walking in, and a woman outside handed me a matchbook, and on the matchbook she had written, "I'm praying for you." Yeah. And I carried that with me for the longest time, because I mean, she didn't even sign it. It just said, you just opened it up and it said, "I'm praying for you." So the smallest thing you can do for somebody, especially when they're going for difficult times, one of the things I try to remember, particularly when people have lost loved ones, everybody's always there in the beginning and everybody sends their flowers in the beginning. I try to make a point of remembering a week from the death, a month from the death, 2 months from the death, 3 months from the death, because that's when everybody's already cleared out, right, and all the people have gone and you're feeling most alone. So, you know, just in your own presence, in your own way of being with yourself, what would you want somebody to do for you? That's generally how I operate. And I'm telling you, when somebody's going through something, just a kind word, a hug, a smile goes a very, very, very long way. Or a word on a matchbook, "I'm praying for you." Yeah.
And also, what I would offer you, Will, is sometimes in the midst of joy, when you feel sadness or sorrow coming up, it's a clearing and a healing. Whatever that energy is, it may be blocking your joy, and now it's coming up to come out, to make room for your heart to open in a very different way.
That's a great point. My mom always said, you know, when you get sick sometimes, she would always say, it always gets worse. It gets more, you know, worse before it gets better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's along the same lines. Great point.
I loved your line, Will. Count it all joy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Count it all joy. Well, thank you. Thank you. You just Skyped in. You were just watching and you just went Skypety who?
Yeah, I'm in Toronto, Canada. I entered
Skype to who?
Isn't this technology thing? I mean, don't we all think this is cool? I mean, there was Harel, and there was Harel in Israel, and then we were talking to Connecticut, and now we're talking to Will in Toronto. I mean,
Mexico.
And I just think this is the coolest thing, and I thank you all so much for joining us tonight. We'll be back here in Los Angeles at OWN headquarters next Friday night. That's because Saturday night I'm getting an Oscar.
Are you?
Yeah.
Where?
At the Oscar place.
Saturday is the Oscar?
No, it's not the Oscar. It's the beginning of the whole Oscar season, and I'm getting the Jean Hersholt Humanitarian Award. So I'll be back in town.
Yes. What are you wearing? I don't care what's going on. I got to know what I'm wearing. You know what you're wearing?
I'm going to go to that store on La Brea and see.
This is how you hold the Oscar, like this.
Don't you shame
This is how you hold it in that dress. That's great. That's wonderful.
Do you know what you're wearing?
Yeah, I do. It's a lovely dress. And it did not cost $29. Wonderful being with you.
Always. Thank you so much.
I can't wait. So next week is our last class until when, Sherry?
Next year, season 2 of Life Class.
Season 2 of Life Class.
We're announcing it for
and one of the things we're going to do on season 2 is probably we're going to take this show on the road because we love you all so much. And we're going to take the show on the road and come to a city near you. And every week, once a week, we're going to do Life Class because we've heard you. I've been listening to you. So many people said lessons are too hard to keep up with every day.
Okay.
And that once a week, we're going to do like 2 hours once a week. And that'll be a lot easier. We'll be online. We'll be on TV. I really appreciate it. So for this last week, please come on, tell your friends, and we'll see you here next week.
Look at that. It says, Timothy Mark Robinson says, reminds me of a
scene from the
Okay,
Color
so I have one for you. Boni mama, boni mama, boni mama.
That's the end of Color Purple.
Yes.
That's beautiful. That's great. Oh, gosh, that's funny. It is funny. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Let's go. It's great.
Boni mama.
I love that scene.
I do too. I watched that movie.